What's going on, everyone? Welcome to a new episode of Mostly Wrong Opinions. I am Tyrone. That is Devin. Today, we have a duel! A last duel. Out right now on HBO Max.
There is only one question that matters. Do you swear on your life that what you say is true?
It was directed by Ridley Scott. We know who Ridley Scott is, the famed director of Alien and everything else that was freaking awesome.
And we just got finished talking about Ridley Scott because he directed House of Gucci. He was very busy in 2021. He directed this and House of Gucci almost back to back.
Yeah, The Last Duel, man, is based on a book that was written about a real event.
Yeah, a real life French duel.
This screenplay is by Nicole Holofenser.
From what I understand, she got added in late, which kind of sucks. But because this is the writing reunion of Ben Affleck and Matt Damon. This is the first time they've been together, writing a film together since Good Will Hunting. But they wisely realized what kind of subject matter they had, and they were way out of their depth. So they got someone to help them out, right? And thank God, because I think without her help, oh my gosh, I can't imagine what the script would be. But with her help, I thought this was a really interesting script, and this is not at all the movie that you would expect it to be. Not at all. At least not the one I was expecting it to be.
It bombed, people. Okay, it bombed.
No, it critically it did great, but it didn't make much money at the box office. And I think the audience reaction was good too. Everybody who saw this movie enjoyed it, but not too many people saw it, unfortunately, and it did not do well. It only I think the opening weekend was like 9 million, something really dismal, and Ridley Scott was beside himself. He was really upset about the box office returns, and he went on this long rant about how people don't like intelligent movies anymore and blah 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 blah. Kind of sucks to hear him say that, but in a way I do agree that between this and House of Gucci, I preferred this over House of Gucci. I thought this was an excellent film. I think it was, like you said, excellently written and really well directed by Ridley Scott.
Because Ridley Scott knows how to capture the essence of the actual time that it's in every single movie that he's done.
Yeah, he's good with like atmosphere and stuff. And so, to explain that, I want to get into like a little of the details of this film. I guess can you spoil this? I don't know. It's based on a true event that happened like a jillion million years ago. But anyway, there's a conflict between two former best friends over a woman. Right? One friend was married to this lady, and his wife said that his best friend raped her.
Jean, I want him to answer for what he has done.
And he will.
Now, this is a big accusation today, and back then it was kind of a medium accusation, right? It's like this was mostly a property dispute. So it's like, whoa.
Formally, this is not about her. Rape is not a crime against a woman. It is a property crime against her male guardian.
The two men decided to deal with this the old-fashioned way. And this was old-fashioned back then too, apparently. This is why this was the last duel. And that is a duel to the death. Because both men are hyper-religious. And they're like, I don't believe God would let the liar survive. So they have a fight to the death in front of a very giggly young king who's just eager to see some blood. And this whole movie is really bizarre. And the bizarreness of it is because you actually kind of see this movie 3 times, which sounds weird and might be a little off-putting. But this movie, you see it once through one character's eyes, then again in another character's eyes, and then you see the truth in a third character's eyes. And you're like, oh, and it really like all comes together. So the movie starts with Matt Damon's character, who is essentially the dumbest character in the movie, but Ridley Scott wisely uses his perspective to, like as you said, make us feel like we're in that time, because he is a man of the moment, right? He's a soldier. All he does is kill, fight, and
very fashionably too. The way that he kills people is very choreographed and cool and skilled, and he's like, huh, slice, huh, dance move, huh.
Yeah, exactly.
Huh. And then when Ridley Scott is filming the fight scenes, it's very stylistic. but
and
then
bloody from his
and
point of view.
bloody,
Bloody and brutal. It's like, oh, it looks disgusting.
Yeah. But
then
when
we
you
switch point of views.
Point of views to Adam Driver's character, to where they're on the battlefield, he's a klutz.
Yeah, he's an idiot. Right? He seems like someone who's surviving by like luck. Seems to be like a dummy who's only survived all these battles through like the skin of his teeth. So it's very interesting how each character sees themselves and how they see the people around them, and their own very limited perspective becomes key to figuring out the mystery in this story. And it's not a mystery because it's very clear. It's very clear almost immediately what the truth is. But because each character can only see the world through their point of view, through their eyes, things get cloudy and things get weird. And then on top of that, the people in charge, they don't really care, right? They just kind of want to be done with it. So it's the whole thing is kind of depressing and fascinating all at the same time. I thought it was a very interesting way to tell a story and a really cool setting to tell this story.
Super cool, man. Let's talk about a character in this film by the name of Pierre, which is played by Ben Affleck. Okay. One bit on there was a clip or there's a YouTube video on Entertainment Weekly where Matt Damon and Ben Affleck was having like an interview, and within this interview, Matt Damon was asking Ben Affleck questions the fans wanted to know, and one of the questions was about Justice League.
Okay.
And he was basically saying, Ben Affleck was saying last week, and it actually came out in the papers, that it was one of the worst experiences he's ever had on a film set because of Josh Whedon. This movie, he said he had such a great time after that movie, where he just did a great film with his friend. He was able to be freer, and you can definitely tell that he was free in this movie. And it just sucked that it didn't get the looks or the praise that other films did. Pierre was a egotistical
he was some sort of like a duke or something like that, you know. And the king was his cousin. The king, by the way, again, 18 years old, a kid, a bloodthirsty
there's
kid.
always a kid king in these movies.
Well, I think they're just trying to show what a farce this whole government was. Not too different from these days. But I guess he ruled this small area of France. And he really liked to eat well, he liked to have a lot of sex, and he liked to show off his wealth, and he wasn't very good at his finances. And this is why Adam Driver's character got into a circle, because Adam Driver's character, while he was also a soldier, he had the opportunity to like get an education through the church, which made him useful to Ben Affleck's character. So while Adam Driver and Matt Damon used to be friends, they started to split because Adam Driver's character started to rise in the aristocracy, and Matt Damon's character was stuck, you know, being a brutal warrior down at the bottom, you know. It was interesting from Matt Damon's point of view, he was just a victim. He was a sad victim of circumstance, and it's just so much bad luck and the famine and all that. But then when we get who I think is our main character's point of view, who has the truthful point of view, which is his wife, Matt Damon's character is an idiot, and he's not out there collecting the rent like he should be. He's so worried about breeding horses and all that stuff that he misses everything. He's just an idiot.
Man, he misses the point of being a husband. But you know, when he's away at war, that's when this whole thing just comes in, of when Adam Driver just goes over there and does the most horrendous thing to this woman.
Yeah, and he does it playfully, which makes it just so horrific. Because you
like, if you run, I'm just gonna chase you.
Yeah, because you can tell this is a game for him. This is funny. You think this is something that he's really enjoying, but from the woman's point of view, it is horrific. It's terrible. She's like screaming for her life. She's like she wants us to stop, but he thinks that this is just a game. He thinks she thinks she's just protesting because she's a lady, and the ladies can't give it up too easy. It's gross. And you see that exact same mindset today. Nothing has changed. The exact same thing. Crazy.
They both of them were the best actors in it because Adam Driver was the aggressor and she was the victim, and you can clearly see within their performances of both of those standards,
Right.
both of those standoffs there.
And what's really interesting is she's the true victim, but both Adam Driver and Matt Damon would put their hand on a Bible and swear that they were the true victim, right? They would both say, no. Adam Driver would say, I'm being accused of something I didn't do, and I will fight to the death to prove that I didn't do it, when it's so obvious he did. And then Matt Damon would be like, he did this. He raped my wife to spite me.
To spite me,
Yeah.
not her.
Yeah,
Me. Because in the line
me.
that he said, how many times, how much must this man do this just to get to me or something like that?
Right.
And then the camera pans back to her and she's like,
what?
what?
Can this man do nothing but evil to me?
She only got married because she essentially got sold off in a deal, right? Like her
Fucking ridiculous.
her father was on the losing side of a war, and instead of being executed, he was like, look, I'll sell you my land and gift you my daughter. Okay, there you go. And one of your squires can marry my daughter and you can have my land and whatever. They're like, yeah, sure. F it, who cares? And so she's just kind of there for the ride. She has, again, no agency. Her agency is robbed from her, and it's a horror show. And there's this great scene that they put in here with some horses, right? She's trying to figure out, how does she fit in this world? And she's out there, she's talking to her husband, trying to make small talk because she's learned, she knows how to read and write and all that stuff. Her husband does not. He's kind of an idiot. And so she's like struggling to try and like listen to what he's saying. And he's talking about how, I just bought this mare. This mare's we're gonna breed this mare. She's gonna just bring us all these great future war horses and make our land rich. And she can see that her life and the life of this horse, who's only there to breed, is identical. And then a wild horse runs loose, all dressed in black. Adam Driver spends the movie dressed in black.
Mm-hmm.
So this black horse runs up and essentially rapes the mare. And Matt Damon's response is like, no, I need money. Not my property, not my property.
Not that stallion! No, not you!
And it's the exact same argument he has later when his wife gets raped. This is, again, for him, a property crime. He's like, no, you're just doing this to hurt me and hurt my feelings. And it's so pathetic.
It has nothing to do with that you're fighting for the honor of your
No.
wife. You're fighting because you believe.
He's fighting for his own honor.
Yeah, it's my own honor. And man, that fight was gruesome.
Yeah, it was brutal. It was brutal, terrible, awful. The whole time I'm like, who am I rooting for? And I'm like,
exactly. I'm like, I don't know.
yeah.
I'm rooting for her because
exactly.
in the contract, if he loses, she gets burnt.
She gets burned alive. She didn't even know this. She was like, wait, what? You started this duel knowing that if you lost, I'm going to get burned alive? Like, what the heck? Yeah. Oh, it was terrible.
So I technically, it's like I wanted Matt Damon's character to win, but not for that reason of his honor. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, I felt bad for Adam Driver, but I didn't feel bad for Adam Driver because he did it. So it's like
yeah, he did it. He was the monster man. They were both pretty terrible, but Adam Driver was by far the worst. By far. He was an absolute horrendous human.
Cinema, you failed. Okay? You failed with this movie because this movie was a good movie, a really good movie.
Did cinema fail, or did just general audiences fail?
That's what I'm saying. General audiences going to the cinema failed, but they didn't. I mean, I can't even say they didn't give any agency or urgency to go see this film because all the urgency was fucking Spider-Man and
Right.
The Matrix.
I think
You
that
know?
was the big issue. I don't think this was very well marketed because I don't think Disney was interested in this film. Right? This is not. They didn't even put their logo up there. Right?
No, it was Fox Studios.
Yeah, exactly.
Instead of
20th Century Studios. Yeah. So like because there was no Fox, it was at 20th Century Studios. So yeah, this was just like something that clearly Disney just released because Fox was in the process of making it when their companies merged. So I think that's probably one of the real reasons. It is sad this movie bombed, and I mean, we at the moment there have been no Oscar announcements just yet, but I think House of Gucci will probably get more nominations or at least even be in the conversation than this movie in The Last Duel. But the superior film to me, probably by like a lot, is The Last Duel. Like I really enjoyed this film, and I didn't expect going into it. I didn't expect to enjoy it, mostly because general audiences, that includes me. I didn't go to the movie to see this movie either. I didn't go to the theaters to see this.
Yeah, they got a gym. HBO has a gym, man.
I think this could be something like a cult classic in the future because this is really good.
Yeah, man. Let's get into the rating here. The directorial style of Ridley Scott, the acting of Adam Driver and Jodie. What's her name? Jodie
Comer, I believe her name is. But let me see. Jodie Comer. She played the wife, Margaret.
Yes, it's really good acting between them two. It was a very stellar story,
and we don't meet our main character until like 2/3 into we don't really understand her point of view until like 2/3 of the way through the film. It's like, wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's how you know that this writing is good. Because of how much this film surprised me and everything I just said, I am giving this film a 8.
8. Great. I like this movie quite a bit. I think I liked it more than you. I'm giving this one a 9. I thought this was a really good film with a lot to say, a lot on its mind. I think there's even like some layers under here that's talking about just movies in general. Because
hold up, wait, I change.
Uh-oh.
Put scratch that out. It's a 9.
Okay.
It's a 9.
Okay, change your mind. All right, cool. Glad I could do that for you. You're welcome. I'll just take credit for whatever. Just kidding. But I think this movie was trying to make a point about movies in general, about how the movie starts off from Matt Damon's point of view, and then it moves to Adam Driver's point of view. When the whole time it's so clear this movie is not about either one of them. And it should never have been about either one of them. And the fact that it starts off with them and you don't even second guess it. I didn't. I was just like, oh, okay, yeah, all right, fine. And then by the time you get to the end, you're like, oh, you're right. I shouldn't have been so worried about these two guys because these guys these are side characters. Our main character, the real victim, we don't get her point of view until the end. And I think they're trying to make a point in that, like, you kind of expect that from a movie, right? You expect the white guy to be standing in front, and whether or not he should be or not. And they had two white guys battling it out, and it's like, yeah, no, this is not where the real drama is, right? The real drama is not with this duel. The real drama is this horror show that Margaret has to witness. And I just thought that was great. So I really like this movie. I think Ridley Scott has cranked out some really quality movies lately. And it is a shame that this one hasn't gotten the attention it deserves. So it gets a strong 9 from me.
And a strong 9 from me too.
I think this movie will really hold up also with multiple viewings because this movie has like really fun details. Like we talked about how from Matt Damon's point of view, he's a really good dancer, but then from everyone else's point of view, he's not that coordinated. And then from Matt Damon's point of view, he's the one who said that beautiful flourish thing. He's like, oh, may there never be any rivals between the squires of the king. And the other person's like, well said, well said. And so from Matt Damon's point of view, he said it. And then from Adam Driver's point of view, he said it. But in reality, neither one of those motherfuckers said it, right? It was like some random guy in the background said it, right? So I like these little details. Everyone makes themselves look like they're the main character, when in reality they're not. They're not the main character at all.
And that is precision, people.
Yeah,
that is
stuff.
Precision.
Yeah,
you know,
really
when you film stuff like that and you put in details like that in real moviegoers like us, we will pick that stuff out. We'll be like, okay, let me take a little bit of that.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, I see that too.
Yeah. I was talking about
real good, really.
a movie where, like, you start digging, you start seeing stuff. You're like, oh, okay, I see what you're doing here. So this one's got a lot to say, and there's a lot to chew on. And it's got big themes about, obviously, a woman's autonomy over her own body, about how this ridiculous patriarchal society does them no favors at all. I really like this movie quite a bit, and I'm glad they got a woman to help them write this story, because without her, my gosh, I don't even want to know what this movie would be about.
Yep. So that's it, people. I gave this movie a 9. I changed it. Devin gave this movie a 9. And go on HBO Max, go see this film, stream it, give it some love, man. That is our review for The Last Duel. Yo, we'd like to thank you for clicking on this video. All right, we've been having a lot of fun doing this. Things have been going up, and viewership has been going up, and audiences is seeing us over there. So if you can help us out to keep that going, click that subscribe button. It's right down there at the bottom. All right, it's a red button, and don't get knocked out by Jake Paul again. So previous video
snuck down in there.
Yeah, perfect. But either way, click that subscribe button and click the notification bell to stay up to date with everything we do right here on Mostly Wrong Opinions. And if you liked our review of Last Duel, if you've seen it, give that thumbs up. It really does help out the channel. If you want to go ahead and dislike it, whatever. Well, Matt Damon sucks and Jimmy Kimmel's right. Right. Go ahead and leave that thumbs down. Whatever it is your opinion. But just remember one thing: it is mostly wrong. I challenge you to a duel. Glove on the ground.
Throw that glove down. Swing that cape around.
Halfway down.